Alright, g'day there, Richard MUSGRAVE-EVANS here again and welcome back. Now today we're back in the studio, back with the clear prime Belgian linen. So it looks like it's a raw Belgian linen, but it's got the 3 protective coats to keep the paint from seeping through, keeps it all protected. We're going to be painting a new subject, something different, pretty excited. Let's get into it. But before we do, we'll just check out what we've got, what material we're using. Good old-fashioned large palette knives and buckets of oil paint. Alright, let's get into it. Now what I'll do is, I've just put a few white marks, and that's just to give me the feeling, and I only do it with a knife. I didn't block it in with a brush or anything like that. It's just a few blobs with the white that was left on there as I was putting the white onto the palette itself. So, now I've got a few marks, let's go for the biggest difference. Then what I'm going to do is, first establish the darks, I reckon. So I'll go for some alizarin crimson, which is a nice rich red. Maybe a bit of cobalt blue. Got plenty of paint on me to start with, that's always a good thing. End up wearing a bit of the paint. Most of the paint I use, or all the paint except for the CAD colours, is not poisonous, so that's alright. Otherwise I'd be in all sorts of strife. Okay, now darks. Just drop a few in. So we've got the Viridian green, ultramarine blue. Just gonna make a basic statement, and like I've said before, this stuff is very easy to paint over. It's just good to put the darks on first, and then you can do the lights on top. Not too bad, getting there. Maybe a bit of Viridian green now thrown up in here. So there's a variety of dark colours and tones I'm using. The Viridian green is the opposite on the colour wheel. Now I'm going to go for a bit of burnt sienna, so there's all sorts of variety of colours there. They're all in the dark tonal range though, so on the black to white scale, they're all closer to black, I guess you could say. We'll just put that in, lovely, make nice neat edges there. Beautiful stuff. And a bit more green. It's good fun painting new subjects, always good fun. So. Just place that in there. We don't need to get too fussy at the moment. Okay. A little bit darker in there. By putting the blue, I'll darken it a bit. Feel my way through. What are we doing here? Yes. Yep. That's all happening. Oh, what fun. Right, now, what else are we going to put in? Next stage, okay, let's go for a few middle tones. So I'll go Viridian green and yellow ochre. So I'm trying to make more of a foliage colour. Just needs a bit more of a brown thrown in, so I'll go for the burnt sienna. Throw a few of those tones in all over the place. Now I'll go burnt sienna. I might introduce a bit of white now, so I've got burnt sienna and white. a little bit of that cobalt blue just to knock it back. It's the opposite side of the colour wheel. So mixing that with the brownish tone, colour and tonal value, we'll just send it slightly more of a grey, more of an earthy colour. What have we got here? Just going to get a bit of a coverage. With the greens again. So we're going yellow ochre, viridian green. Lighter tone, bit more white and burnt sienna. Going for a much lighter tone down here now. Just trying to feel a few of the light tones in. A bit more white with that burnt sienna. Righty. Okay, what have we got here? That goes there. That goes around here like so. Feeling the way. It's all good fun. So like I said, this is just an out of focus backdrop, a bit of that sort of stuff going on at the moment. Just going to stand back and see what's going on. Okay, now I can see what I'm going to have to do is get some viridian green and white. Just mix those two together so it makes a very high key electric green. Now what I'm going to do is get some of the yellow ochre, half mix it with that, and that'll make a super high key foliage colour. It's a great way to use basic colours but still get a very intense effect. What have we got there? So that's a very high key colour. We'll just drop a bit of that in. Where I feel it's needed. Go for some more of that. Beautiful stuff. More of the blue, lower key version just here. Shadowed version. Now mixing up, just going to go to magenta, white and blue. You might think, what is that? But all shall hopefully be revealed. Okay. Alright, so we're quickly establishing the major tones, tonal values. Now, what do we got here? I'm going to have to get some more of that yellow ochre out. I can see that I'm going through that extraordinarily fast. So there's burnt sienna yellow ochre. Let me just have a look. Beautiful stuff. There. There. Bend it around like that. Right. Let's mix it up. Let's go for some white. What am I going to do? A bit of white, a little bit of blue and magenta. So I'm mixing up a kind of a light, it's like white in the shadow, I guess you could say. If you got the white tones, but you're in the shadow, obviously it's not going to be pure light tone anymore. It's not going to be white. It's going to be a lower key version. So if you've got black here and you've got white there on the scale and a gradient, it'll be much more, even though it'll look white, it'll be much closer to the black. So that's just the tonal value of it. Right. All good fun and games. Just going to stand back and have a look what I've got. Got the yellow ochre in a cartridge today. It's a great way to pump the paint out, so you can still use plenty of paint. Just put that there. I don't want to be stingy on any of the light tones. I'm about to put some light tones on, like a silhouette that'll really start to pick out the shape, because at the moment I've got all the darker and mid-tones. As soon as I use those light tones in the silhouette, I can help pick out the draftsmanship. So I don't want to be too stingy on paint, so what I've done is give myself plenty so I can lay it on, because I don't want it to mix too much with the undertones. Alright, so I've got a clean knife, but I might actually go a smaller knife. See what we got today. We'll go for this one. Alright, so some beautiful white, of course. I'm just going to use a bit of yellow ochre with that white. Half mix it in a little. Let's just have a look. Place it on there. On there. Knife on the edge to get the real refinements. Like I said, at the moment this is yellow ochre and white. Just place it on. So it's really starting to pick out the edge of that subject. Knife on the edge. Yellow ochre, white. Pick it out. Knife on the edge for draftsmanship. Righty then. Stand back and have a look what's going on, shall we? Alright, so we've got some highlights there. Now I'm going to pick out a bit of the highlight and colour. So got some beautiful cad red, high key stuff. Beautiful cad scarlet. It's actually cadmium scarlet, so it's got the slightest bit of yellow, but it's mainly a red. Just going to take a little bit of paint off here so I'm not working with so much paint. Just before I go any further, getting a little sidetracked here, as you do. With painting, it's always the way, isn't it? Just put some of these puppies in. Right, I'll leave that. Get back into what I was trying to concentrate on a second ago. Oh, beautiful, look at that. The reddest, highest key red is just like bang. Gets you kind of excited, doesn't it? Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. All right, now I'm just going to use a little bit of yellow cad yellow now mixed with that red, so it's much more of an orange than it was a second ago. Get some white, so I'm making a much lighter tone. Still based on the red though, but it is a lighter tonal value. Right. Oops. A little bit dirty. I want that to be clean. Clean colours here. Interesting stuff, interesting stuff. I'm just going to stand back for a minute. Alright, where are we? A little bit more of the red, the deeper tone. So instead of going the cad colours, I've gone back to the alizarin crimson. Maybe with a tiny bit of the cad. Just, it's still a spiked up colour, but it's a lower tone, it's closer to the black like we were discussing before. There we go. Might just go slightly pinker with this one. Getting there, getting there, getting there, getting there. Right. Lighten the tone a little. It's all fun and games. Yellow ochre. Going with the yellow ochre and the cad yellow at the moment. Just getting a light tone. Using the edge of the knife to just draw down a little. There we go. Now, getting there. Use some of these ochres again with the cad. Right, stand back again, we'll have a look what's going on. Right, now, just get a little bit of that lighter tone again, maybe with a little bit more white in it. Just want to pick out some of these edges of the chook. Got these beautiful feathers. This breed of chook is called the Wyandotte. Wyandotte, and they have a lovely pattern about them. The feathers have a lovely pattern. And so that's a golden Wyandotte, hence the golden colour. And that's a silver Wyandotte. So the golden Wyandotte has the brown and gold patches in its feathers. So I'm using yellow ochre and burnt sienna for that one. Beautiful the way the pattern goes too. It's all varied depending on what part of the chook it's on. The feathers are going this way, the feathers are going that way. Beautiful stuff. I'm just using the knife on edge to pick out the different things. yellow ochre, burnt sienna. Lovely chooks. There we go. Okay, now get a bit more of that high key green, make up a bit more of that. Viridian green and white. Get some more of those yellow ochres. Maybe even a bit of the cad yellow. I want a very high key foliage colour. Let's place these colours in. Where's that bigger knife? What am I playing with that little knife for when I've got a massive knife? Better? Alright. Chunk some of that stuff in. Just pull through a little bit. I'm just trying to blend some of those colours and tones. Bit of variety, a bit of textural marks going here and there. More of that yellow ochre. Playing with the light. Getting there, getting there. Lighten the tone here now, just sticking some lighter tones in where the light's really catching the edge of things. Alright, now go for some yellow ochre again and burnt sienna, more predominantly yellow ochre. Working out where to put those little chooky legs. It's all good fun. All good fun. Lighter tone now. So yellow ochre, white with a knife on edge. Knife on edge again. All good fun and games. What do we got here? Right. Wipe it clean. Clean up the edge of that. Make it nice and skinny. Chicken legs. Make it chicken legs. Knife on edge to help pick out a bit of light hitting there. Yellow ochre, white. Getting there, beautiful stuff. Stand back for a minute. All right, things are starting to happen. Right, more yellow ochre, more light tones. Plenty of yellow ochre. I just want to really start to feel the background. And I just want to bring everything together. Feel what we're doing. More of that magenta and blue. Breaking up all the colours here. Breaking up all the colours. Right. Okay, a bit more yellow ochre and white. Slap that on there, nice and chunky style. White, yellow ochre, going for more of those silhouetted highlights. Let's just bring it out a little, just here. White, yellow ochre. Really starting to pick out some of the forms. Knife on edge. Keep the knife clean when you're doing those real accenty colours. Hang on. Bigger knife. Burnt sienna, yellow ochre, half mixed. Plenty of power. Picking up some of those feathers that are just licking around in the light. Fun, oh what fun. Okay, always get back, when you're doing this stuff, always get back to analyse, because it's all about the illusion. Alright, well it's getting there. Now I'm going to go the yellow ochre again and burnt sienna. Just in the shadow, just behind the chook, where the chook's got light bouncing off it. But what I want to do is try and emphasise just a little bit of a halo coming off that chook. So it's like the light's so strong that it's bouncing, when it bounces off the chook, kind of glows out a tad. It's always a great way to give the feeling of strong light. When it just bounces out that little off the subject. Like so. Okay, so it's getting there. Pretty happy with what's going on. We're starting to get the big impression. So let's get some more yellow ochre and white and let's just slap it on. Slap it on like we could not care what the end result is. Just have the confidence to pile the paint on. Gives a beautiful look. Alright, well I feel like things are coming along quite well now. We're getting a lot of the essential colours and tones, and I've got plenty of, well I've got the draftsmanship pretty much there, I feel like I've got that. But I also feel like these rich colours and tones are really dancing around and just celebrating the subject, if you like. So it's almost abstract in application, but if you can keep the tone and the colour, or the tonal value and the colour, fairly close to realism, then when you play with that much colour on top, or that much thick paint, it still gives the feeling of reality, but up close it's about paint. So, pretty happy with what's going on there. Yeah. Plenty of light, good stuff. Alright, in saying that, we've pretty much got what we want now, so what I might do is we'll get that camera off before I go and wreck the painting. We'll have a buzz around and check out all the technique. Alright. Alright, well before we do get that camera off, I've just made one more decision. I'm just going to get a little bit of this yellow ochre, just ever so slightly. Pick out just a few, and I'll take that one off there. Just a few of those individual feathers that really, so I'm suggesting it really gives it the feeling of the golden Wyandotte. Just, a lot of it's just the big impression, it's just blobs of colour, but then in the most important areas where your eyes really focus, just put a few clean feathers and then your mind will do the rest. It'll see what they are. It's all good fun. The power of suggestion. Just take a little bit of paint off there with the back of the knife. Alright, so that'll do. We've definitely done it now. So we've got everything I was after. I'm pretty excited about what's going on because I really love these little birds, and I was waiting for them to get old enough to paint. I got them when they were chicks and they just, just weren't right. I was just waiting for them to grow. They're about the point of lay, and their comb, as you can see, is getting really red. So these chicks are at the point of lay. They've kind of got their full adult shape about them now, and there was a beautiful sunny day, so I took a few stills and images and a quick sketch just to get the feeling of those chooks, and I thought, yeah, I reckon I can go inside now and paint a real nice painting of them. So that's what I've done, and I'm pretty happy with what's going on. Now, I chose to do the both, so we've got the contrast between the golden Wyandotte, that's the name, went blank for a minute, the golden Wyandotte and the silver Wyandotte, nice contrast. But also just a bit of the foliage. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a fair bit of purple in there too, and that was the purple cabbage leaves. So we've got the combination. They're the kitchen scraps sort of thing, and so we've got the combination of the beautiful high key greens and then those beautiful magentas from those purple leaf vegetables. Fantastic stuff. All right, so pretty happy with what's going on, and at the same time, what I've also done is I've painted, I guess you could say, largely work like I was saying, broad and abstract, but the closer you get to the focal points, the more reeled in. So like, for example, those faces are actually quite reeled in and quite finished. And anything that's visually important in a painting like this, you should bring up more than the rest of it. And the rest of it can be played down. And the fact that it is played down helps to lead your eye towards the more finished area. All right, well, let's get that camera off and have a look. Thank you.